Hi everybody, welcome back. It's Ben. If you have been following my last video, you heard that I like to tell stories. And tonight I wanted to share a story from my youth. It's very much in relation with what we're dealing with today, with the crisis that we're facing with this pandemic. And it starts in Africa. And I was a little boy, and we lived there. And in a third world country where there's lots going on, and a lot of uncertainty and a lot of danger. I lived in Africa when there was a war going on, and eventually, while living there, I ended up catching malaria as a little boy. And malaria back then was something that was very dangerous because they didn't have a lot of medicine to help you, and so this disease started to take over my body, and I got really sick. It started to affect a lot of my body weight. I lost a lot of my body weight and became very skinny. And my muscles started to deform my body so that my spine bent backwards, and my head would rest on the pillow and my feet would stick out of the headboard of the bed at the same time. My parents were so afraid of what was going on, and they had a lot of doubt in their hearts. They had a lot of doubt as to what the outcome would be if I would make it through this. So they went to the hospital, and they went to the mission medics, and they even went to the military medics. They asked everybody that they could to see if there was some solution to help in this event where there was just no hope. I was dying, and the doctors that my parents talked to told them, just take your little boy home and say your goodbyes. They didn't give them any hope at all either. And the thing for me as a little boy is I would remember seeing the look in my parents' face where they were so hurting, and where they didn't know what to do, and they felt very lost and out of control, like they had no control. My little brother and sister, they'd look at me as well, and I'd see the pain in their face. And again, it was a situation where we just didn't have control over what was going on. But my parents, they invited my brother and sister and my grandparents and some elders from church in, and they prayed for me. You know, today we're dealing with a pandemic it's a sickness that is taking people's lives. And it's changing people's lives, in our regular day. It's changing the way we operate. It's changing where we go, how we work, or if we can go anywhere. And it really points out to us that we're not in control, though we might think we are. We try everything we can to be in control of our surroundings and our future and our success and our relationships. We try everything we can to be in control of that, even right down to the investments or saving for our future. But the reality is we're not in control. Really, we're not in control. And because this pandemic and the way our world is handling it is scary and is really frightening people and is making us worried or stressed, it amplifies the reality that we can't do anything about it, that we're not in control. Now, we're hoping to gain ground on this sickness, but in the whole schema of what's going on, we need to ask ourselves, if we can't control this, if we aren't in control, because we're not, then who is in control? I honestly believe it is Jesus. As a little boy, I was prayed over and I was healed, and I ran around playing 3 days later. I think today we really need to ask the question, because we're not in control, are we able to find out who Jesus is? Are we able to learn to trust him? I want to encourage you guys. These are some really deep questions, and if you have questions for me, please feel free to get a hold of me. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can look me up on Facebook, or you can follow me on Instagram, and just put your comments in there, ask questions, and I'd love to give you some answers. There's many more stories to come, and I want to encourage you guys, we don't need to be afraid in this time. We need to be smart, and we need to make sure that we're taking care of how we interact with people and following the guidelines that we're given. But we don't need to be afraid, and we can learn to be okay with not being in control. We don't need to worry. We don't need to stress. And I know why. I know who we can trust in. With that being said, I hope that you guys can have some encouragement through this. I hope to see you again soon. There's many more stories to come. For now, we'll see you later.